Okay, so what? I look at you when I'm answering your questions, right? Okay.
My name is Marius Watts. I'm from Norway, and I'm a visual artist working with code.
So my name's Golan Levin. I'm a professor of electronic new media art at Carnegie Mellon University, where I direct the Studio for Creative Inquiry, and I'm an artist.
My name is Peter Brinkman. I'm a software engineer at Google, and I work on pure data in my spare time.
I'm Ben Fry. I'm based out of Boston.
My name is Amanda Cox, and I work as a graphics editor at the New York Times.
And I'm one half of the Ben Fry and Casey Reese that make processing.
My name is Zach Lieberman, and I'm an artist, a professor, and really a researcher working in the field of new media.
I'm Jer Thorpe. I'm an artist, an educator, designer, writer, all kinds of things. My title, I have two titles right now. I'm the data artist in residence at the New York Times, and I'm a visiting professor at ITP at New York University.
My name is Hans Gustav Steiner.
My name is Joshua Clayton.
My name is Maria Michaels.
My name is Ted, although I usually go by TedBot.
My name is Kyle McDonald, and I'm an artist full-time.
My name is Theodore Watson.
Okay, my name is Paris Trianafellis.
Hi, I'm Tom Cotton, and I'm the CTO of Bloom Studio in San Francisco.
So I spend a lot of time hacking, programming, making things, teaching.
We sort of specialize in making interactive installations for the members of the public.
I create visuals. I play in clubs.
I guess you would say a new media artist.
I am a media artist, currently based in New York.
My name is Robert Hodgin, and I am a creative director for Bloom Studios.
And I basically make inventions come alive, my own or others.
Open Frameworks is a toolkit that allows people to create interactive things using code.
Another way to think about it is that it's a bunch of tools that we can use to make kind of interesting, magical works.
And whenever you open up the toolbox, you're always finding something new. You find something that someone else threw in there, and you know you can borrow it, and you'll bring it back, and they can use it again. But there's always new things, and there's always exactly what you need to work with.
So that you have at your disposal extremely powerful open source libraries for doing nearly anything, whether it's computer vision or real-time audio synthesis or serial port communications or networking.
So that people who are artists or designers can spend more time thinking about the creative aspects of their project and less time having to deal with the technical aspects.
Processing is a really excellent tool which allows people, just about anybody with any kind of background, to start working with code as a creative medium.
You learn to program computers by drawing. You learn to program computers by loading in images and doing things with those. You learn to program by making animation and interaction, visual experiences.
So it's a digital sketchbook. It's somewhere where you can scribble down your ideas in code. But just like a sketchbook, those ideas might become real things.
What we want people to do is, try something, write a little bit of code, see what happens, write a little bit more code and see what happens.
So it's the quickest route for me from code to pixels on screen.
Bringing what we think is really thrilling and exciting about software into the visual arts at a level where people who are visually motivated and focused can explore, experiment, and play with code as a new way of realizing ideas.
I mean, I think especially in the art world, people start making an artwork, maybe they have a strong idea and maybe they don't. But oftentimes, regardless of whether they have a strong idea or not, it changes and it forms in the process. So having that opportunity to kind of explore and build while exploring, I think can match the experience of, say, working with paint, where your feedback is instant. You mix the paint, it happens there. There's no waiting, there's no compiling.
The system is always on. So when you have this system that's always on, it's again like a room full of modular electronic equipment. Everything's running, and I can say, I wonder what'll happen if I take this sine wave oscillator and put it over into this thing, and what if I take this filter and add it here? And you're doing it in real time, it's running.
Maybe I would describe it as a series of pipes, and boxes between pipes that do different things.
So you start with an empty canvas. You do not have, say, your usual graphical user interface that's cluttered with all kinds of buttons or filled with all kinds of prefab objects that make an assumption about what you're going to do.
Pure data is not something that you present in and of itself as an object. It's a glue that allows you to connect different ideas, different media elements together to realize your idea.
The process of making sound with computers doesn't have to be horrible. Like up until then, it was what motivated me was the result. I really liked the sounds I could make, but the process was really miserable. It wasn't fun, really, to sit there and write that code.
These days, I think very few people remember or recall that software is made by people, and that software is something that they could make themselves. Software tends to be something, all the different media accoutrements that we have today is generally made by large companies. And we begin to think that an individual can have no voice in this. I think it's essential for artists to have a seat at the table in determining the future trajectory of technologies.
Open source and open systems, I think it's kind of changed a lot of different people's mentality. It's changed individual programmers' mentality because they feel empowered, and artists, they feel empowered to work with these tools. But it's also changed the mentality of larger corporations because they look at everyone working on these things and see that you have millions of people doing stuff because they love it.
The key notion here is the notion of empowerment that comes along with DIY, open source, and sharing and making these types of projects.
This is what's great about the open source community, is that technologies like Pure Data or Arduino or the Connect or open frameworks have a way, somehow or another, of working together when people are sort of thinking through, how do I do this?
Very importantly, this process of collaborating on open frameworks as a tool, as an open source library, has also taught us a little bit to collaborate as artists and to also think about the process of making work not just as this sort of lone artist in a room coming up with this genius idea, but instead thinking about how we can take the kind of open source attitude towards developing art and get the benefit of many minds onto an idea rather than just one mind.
How birds flock together and fly together, like just how that kind of movement occurs, and just this idea of flocking. And I have this notion that really that ideas flock together, that people that are thinking the same kinds of things, they wind up moving in the same direction, and it's not just one individual that's kind of steering the group, but the whole group steers itself, and it's based on all of the different contributions of the people that are there, and it really feels to me like that kind of movement occurs with a huge number of people.